Alright, I believe everything's working again. I felt quite brave about a half hour ago when my audio interface mentioned that there was a new firmware upgrade available, so I decided to update it right away. I was gonna record this video originally like, I don't know, 30, 45 minutes ago, but it turns out that firmware upgrade removed all of my settings. So I had to set everything up again from scratch, which was a little bit stressful because I got this new audio interface some time ago and it's fantastic. It's just also a little bit more complex than what I was using in the past. One problem I was just running into, for some reason, my desktop audio was mixed in with my microphone audio as well. So that means that I had two sources of game audio when I imported it into my editing software, and for some reason there was a weird echo and everything was messed up. But I believe, at the very least assuming you're listening to this video, assuming this video made it up to the YouTube channel, that yeah, it's all worked out and I hopefully didn't mess anything up. Okay, anyways, what I've got for you today is a Zerg versus Terran that is supposed to be an absolute banger. We find ourselves on the map Ancient Cistern, spotting right here in the top right-hand corner, playing with the orange Zerg drones, not a color we see all too often. We're looking at Neuro's main hatchery. His opponent in the opposite corner, playing here with the blue Terran SCVs. We're looking at Astrea's main base. So Astrea decides to go for a little bit of Terran in this particular match. So this game, as of me casting it, was played yesterday. And from what I understand, this game really comes down to the absolute wire. So I'm excited to find out what ended up going down between these two. So in case you're unfamiliar, Neuro, a fellow live streamer on Twitch. He obviously is known as the Professor of Respect, always emphasizing being polite and good to your opponents and trying to stay in control of your mental game, right? I mean, if you've experienced any anger in StarCraft 2 and maybe that's something you're struggling with, definitely make sure to check out Neuro's live stream because he definitely puts a lot of emphasis on that. Either way, Neuro, as we'll be making this video, he's currently the rank 58 Grandmaster on the North American server, so for obvious reasons, a very strong Zerg. Astrea, excuse me, whew, I got myself some water here, 1 second, Finally going through puberty, guys. Maybe I'll be able to grow some facial hair before the end of this video, that'd be sick. Astrea, as we'll be making this video, currently the rank 1, well, on the North American ladder. That may not all be too surprising, but of course, that's with his Protoss. So I can imagine that Astrea would be very comfortable playing Protoss here, but how good is he really at the Terran versus Zerg matchup? Because, you know, say you're a Terran player, you're probably, well, not watching all too many games of Protoss versus Protoss, Zerg versus Zerg, and Protoss versus Zerg, just because that's outside of what you actually need to know. Anyhow, we'll find out together exactly how strong Astrea's off-race currently is, as he's already forced to deal with some early-game Zerglings here. I mean, Neuro realizing, wait a second, there's no Reaper coming across, so I may as well test the waters. One SCV, one Zergling, nothing all too crazy, but certainly not a bad start right here for the American Zerg. Okay, so it's a double Rex opener here from Astrea, so he's going to be going for a 2-1-1. We can sort of test how fluent he is with Terran by seeing the timing at which that medevac drop is going to head across the map. So normally, with a perfect execution, if you were to see someone like Maru, right, execute a build like this, he will hit, depending on the size of the map, at like the 5 minutes and 10 seconds mark, roughly. So we're assuming it's going to be 16 Marines inside of a plane, or 2 planes, with Stimpec, and then 2 medevacs. That's what we're looking for, so we'll have to keep an eye out on the clock to see exactly how fluent Astrea is. But yeah, it turns out the pro gamers are good at playing, well, StarCraft 2, because they're professional gamers and they play StarCraft 2 for a living. So even though Astrea is playing its off race here, I'm assuming he's still going to be a very, very strong player. I mean, there have been some jokes on the internet, at least for a while, when most of the best Protoss players in Korea were doing their mandatory military service, that apparently the very best Protoss player from Korea was Maru, which I thought was kind of funny. Anyways, we do have a little bit of a engineering bay follow-up right now from Astrea as well. Okay, there's the third gas geyser going down, so we'll have to see exactly where he decides to go. There's going to be the infantry weapons upgrade here for now. But anyways, the 2 medevacs, they're already queued up. Marines are popping out of those barracks. We've got 16 of them in total. And it seems to me that indeed Astrea is on point right here with his strategy. Okay, so what exactly is the response from Neuro going to be? I would like to see him pulling back those overlords, because Well, this one can probably stay, but the ones at the front will certainly go down if he's not careful. He decides to go for a quick lair right now, followed up with a Baneling Nest. You, broadly speaking, have a couple different options. Yeah, he's going to kill that right away. You, broadly speaking, do have a couple different options. So, for example, you could go for a 1-1 upgrade before you go for the Baneling Nest and the Baneling Speed. In this particular circumstance, okay, he does see it right now. I think he's still going to start up Baneling Speed here before he goes for the 1-1 upgrades. Yeah, he will. But against this sort of push, you really don't need Banelings. Usually about 30 Zerglings or so and a bunch of Queens is plenty. And yeah, that's exactly where he's going to get to. Neuro already, though, at 60 drones. So despite the fact that he's losing a couple Creep Tumors and a couple Overlords here, he droned incredibly greedily. And maybe losing that one Overlord actually turned out to be okay for him, because that greed now is working out very nicely. He's trying to snipe down those Medivacs from a distance. Good control right there by the Terran player, who's secretly a Protoss. Could be a hybrid maybe, or I don't know, a Zelnaga, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, he is not doing a poor job right here microing his units whatsoever. The thing is, though, with a build like this, yeah, you don't have as fast of a third command center. And as a matter of fact, we still don't have a third CC. Now, I know that this is, there we go. I know that this is going to be a rather long game. So I think Astrea's original plan was to close this game out by like the 8-minute mark, but I'm afraid for him that that is not going to work out. There's another Medivac drop heading right now towards the left side of the map. Medivacs are getting dangerously close to those Medivacs, though. Or what? The Queens are getting dangerously close to those Medivacs, though. I'm a little flustered by my audio interface, okay? Bear in mind, okay? Just a one-man production team here. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have... Anyways, maybe I shouldn't have bought a complex audio interface. The thing is, when it works great. So I should probably just learn how to get it done. In case you're interested, by the way, my setup is available over at LowkoTV/setup. There's a full interview, or sorry, a full overview of my current hardware setup. I try to keep it up to date. Anyhow, Zergling run by over here. At least attempted. Not gonna happen. But that third command center, man, this is really, really late. He's already got SCVs to mine at a future base as well. I mean, we're at 22 workers here in the natural. Only 12 in the main base, so maybe a little bit of optimization could be done over there. Either way, Medivac drop right now in the main base. Being obnoxious. It's all dealing a bunch of damage, and honestly now it's really starting to hurt a bit. But this... yeah, none of this is particularly great for the Terran player, mostly because of the economical situation in this game. I don't think he's going to be able to kill a third base here, and that's honestly what you're looking for at a point like this, right? You want to deal some sort of significant amounts of damage. There's some transfusions going down. That siege tank positioning is actually really sick. Then again, though, Zerg doesn't really need to engage it, right? Okay, here's a follow-up army coming across as well. 1-1 just finished up here for the Zerg player. Baneling speed is already done as well. Getting a couple Banelings going here would be fantastic. Yeah, the creep spread is good over on this side of the map. One of the problems you're running into, though, is the fact that the creep spread is just not as great on the left side of the map. Siege tank positioning, once again, excellent right here from Astrea. We need some Banelings, Neuro. Yeah, there's a couple Banelings here in the mix. Queens are trying to defend the main base, but if they're defending the main base, maybe we're gonna miss a couple Queen injects. It make a couple additional Queens, apparently, dedicated for the injections alone. Anyhow, I like what he's doing here, though. Neuro just sitting back. There's really no need to be jumping on this. You're just making it harder for yourself, but if you feel like you can overwhelm it, it might just be worthwhile. That siege tank in the back is going to be a pain to clean up, but I think eventually you might just have enough stuff. Yeah. You can see the lack of creep spread, right? So if you compare this to like a Serral or a Raynar or a Dark or any of those top tier Zergs, right? They all have Zerg creep spread all over the map. And it's not for a lack of trying. Neuro's been putting that creep everywhere, but just a little bit slower on spreading those tumors, just a little bit less on point when it comes to the top tier guys, and it adds up very, very quickly. Once again, an attempted Zergling run by here, but the rally points right here of all of those production structures of the Terran, they're set up to the supply depot. Well, it does lose a siege tank here. Okay, tank over there finally ended up going down as well, and Neuro is breaking out of this position on the right side of the map. At this point, I would have rather seen that Zergling run by, though, head on over towards the third command center, because that one is up and running. The rocks are going to get knocked down as well. Here we once again have that siege tank shenanigans. You know what? This time around, it's triple tank. These maps are, of course, still very new, and this little elevator play is really obnoxious. This is now even forcing the Zerg to come all the way back home. Careful, don't lose your Zerglings here for free. Okay, at the very least, they're going to be able to kill... no. Thought they were going to be able to kill one siege tank there, but... even though there's a little bit of a marine dance party happening here, this is a tricky position to break. We're going to need way more units here to properly get through all of this. I mean, you can roll in your Banes, I guess. That's an option, but... all of these traits are very, very expensive for the Zerg. Now, suddenly, there's a Terran drop with a whole lot of medevacs as well. There's like 2 bio units for each medevac in his army. Okay, well, if he ends up getting the medevacs, that would be fantastic. Hydras, though, turn out to be pretty great. Lurker Den is also coming up on the back of this, so eventually, this tempo advantage that Astrea is creating for himself, it is getting shut down. Nydus Worm coming up already as well. Okay, so Neuro is ready to strike back. In the meantime, he did secure a 4th hatchery. I think actually seeing that medevac drop heading on over in that direction would have been a little bit better too. Astrea actually not... well, he's seen the creep. Still playing with apparently the Diva announcer, fair enough. But he did not head on over in this direction. This base is actually so critical right now for the Zerg because he doesn't have that much income. The other potential 4th base is over in that location, and now finally, okay, a Zergling run-by is heading into a much more juicy location. There are a couple Terran reinforcements baited away right now from that safety supply depot, but this is going to hurt Astrea quite a bit. Drop over here on the left side gets denied. This time around, though, the siege tanks are once more setting themselves up in a very good position here on the low ground. Yeah, that base is super dead now if he just right-clicks on it. I think he will. There we go. Might be able to clean up the army too. But now we're trading a 4th base for what is essentially a 3rd base, right? So, yeah, this is now a relatively low eco game once again. Problem is, though, Neuro doesn't have a whole lot of mineral fields to mine. I think his best bet is just remaking this hatchery. Yeah, that's exactly what he does. Because this expansion here on the left side that he's been, well, wanting to make for a while now, it's just completely denied. There's no expansion right here in the middle of the map or in a safe location here closer by the 3rd. So Neuro really has to clean up this position of the map and then certainly spread some creep here as well. In the meantime, though, the mules are once again back up and running over at the 3rd base, and a planetary fortress is morphing in at the 4th base location. Okay, so Astrea is slowly building up his eco. After losing, I think it was 23 SCVs, 24 in total. Yeah, he is not in the best of positions now economically, but of course those mules, they are very nice, and you can rebuild rather quickly off of 4CC. These Zerglings, once more, headed straight towards the natural expansion. I think Neuro probably wins a lot of games based off of these counterattacks alone. Because he's doing them very frequently. And it's very annoying, actually, when those units are inside of your base. Nydus Worm going up in the back of the main now as well. I saw a couple of lurkers on the production tab. There they are. They're going to be heading into the network as well, so they are planning on tunneling towards the other side of the map and destroying the Terran main base from the inside out. A couple of Terran units do get over here. We need to burrow. We need to burrow. God, without the burrow speed upgrade, they don't burrow nearly as quickly. And that is that entire army getting shut down. There was also an attempted Zergling run by at the 4th base, but Astrea also cleans that one up. Yeah, so economically speaking, maybe Astrea doesn't have that great of an income in this game, for the most part. But he has been trading incredibly cost efficiently. So resources lost-wise, he's in a very good position right now. Zergling run-bys now. I wouldn't have minded seeing maybe a couple of Banelings in the mix as well, right? Well, seems like the Zerglings are doing a pretty dang good job cleaning up most of those workers. Yeah, we have a Baneling roll-by here, prepared for the 4th base instead. Astrea is heading on over in this direction. And he sees them. He's got vision of them anyways. I don't know if he sees them. Technically speaking, there you go. He should have noticed them, and he is indeed going to push back those Banelings right now. Lurkers, though, now do have their speedy burrow upgrade. That upgrade just finished up, and Neuro's actually going into the Ultralisk Cavern. Interesting. So, Ultra, Lurker, Ling, Bane, Viper? Hydra? Queen? Drone? Spine crawl? Okay, no, maybe not spine crawlers. Once again, though, look at the spreads right here. Oh, no, he needs a scan! Oh, my God, what? Okay, that was a disaster right there for Astrea. Stimming into a bunch of lurkers. I already questioned that decision in the first place, but it seemed to be going decently well for him initially. But then the scan ran out, and then also the life force energy ran out of, yeah, all of those Marines and Marauders. That's a little bit disappointing. Usually at this point in the game, we see a Ghost transition, right? Ghosts are, yeah, there we go. 4 of them on the production tab. Ghosts are a critical unit at this point in the game for Terran, because good luck trying to deal with those units if you're not Maru or Bjorn, or especially Bjorn, right? Bjorn every once in a while is a game. Here we go again, by the way. Oh, yeah, okay. Good splits. Very nice splits. Sometimes Bjorn is one of those... No, don't lose the Vipers! Oh, my God. Bjorn sometimes has one of those games. A little bit of farting to, apparently, yeah. Oh, yeah, Parasitic Bomb. Okay, not bad. Bjorn sometimes just refuses to make Ghost, right? Every once in a while that happens. Those Zergling run-bys are lethal, though, dude. Is this Raynor or is it Neuro? Hello. It's Raynor with 200 less APM-ish. Neuro's actually playing incredibly quick. I'm very impressed. He's playing an excellent game. You can see, like, if he would be a little bit more on point with just a couple of things, most notably that creep spread in the earlier stages of the game, I suppose, and just, yeah, a couple of slip-ups here and there with those lurkers. He's still committed, right? He's like, Nydus Worm in the main base. There is a drop coming in, but I'm still gonna commit anyways. Should have not done that. If he, yeah, wouldn't have lost those Vipers just now, for example. It's just the small changes, man. The small differences that, at the pro level make up everything. Like, once upon a time, you could be very good at the game just by hitting all of your Queen Injects as Zerg, right? Just being good at Queen Inject got you to, like, Master League. These days, everybody is good at Creep Jet and Queen Injects, and, you know, separating yourself is incredibly tricky. That's probably also where things such as talent just happen to come into play, right? Alright, another Nydus Worm. Pretty spicy position, but it's still on top of that supply depot that Astrea has been rallying all of his units onto. So in case you're unfamiliar, usually what Terran players like to do, all of their production structures, they're set up to one opening here in the wall. And that will create a, well, at least in theory, a full wall off whenever there's enough units occupying that space. Which is kind of nice. Anyways, another network right here in the back of the main. Ultras and Lurkers. I don't usually see this unit comp. I mean, the Ultras are now pretty much as big as the Lurkers are. Which is kind of funny. Nydus Worm in the back of the main base was cleaned up. Okay. Can we see a yoink? I would love to see a yoink, Neuro. Yank the tank. Neuro, yank the tank. Just like back in college. Do it. No, no! That's the wrong yanking, man! Okay. Anyways, Nydus Worm coming up right now. I mean, to be fair, Abduction was nerfed, right? So that means it's basically unplayable. At least that seems to be the sentiment on the forums. Unit gets nerfed, literally unplayable. Can't ever get anything done ever again. Ghosts are nerfed, definitely unplayable unit right now. Turns out, nah, I don't think that's entirely true. Okay, he's leaving only a couple of lurkers to defend this area on the map, and I actually don't think that's a terrible idea. You do have to be a bit of a madman to stim your bio units into a bunch of lurkers anyways, so usually lurkers are... You don't really need even that many of them. Is this enough, though, to deal damage over here? Okay. Keep in mind that the snipe ability is cancelled as soon as there's damage dealt to the ghost. Yeah, with Zerglings here for support, this would have been good. Here's another attempted Ling run by. I love the swarmy style of Neuro, though, not gonna lie. He is all over the map. It's just that he's getting cleaned up a little bit faster here than I would imagine he probably gets cleaned up in most of the games. Now, there is Burrow being used here. I can't even really catch it on camera. There are a couple of burrowed Zerglings here. Okay, you can't even see them. Very nice. Okay, so upgrades-wise, I mean, Neuro's is... Yeah, his list of upgrades is gonna extend all the way horizontally. I'm gonna run out of space here at some point. Not nearly as many upgrades right here for Astrea. Not even enhanced shockwaves. Oh, wait. Oh, wait, no. Okay, the Ghost Cloaking. Still a pretty nice upgrade to have. Wouldn't mind seeing a couple more of the NG Bay upgrades, especially when you are spread this thinly. It's very nice to have the building armor, the high-sec auto-tracking, all that as well, but... Again, I can imagine that maybe as far as the finer details of Terran vs. Zerg goes, it's not really... Like, Neuro will probably... Or, sorry, Astrea will probably watch Terran vs. Zerg from time to time, right? When he's at tournaments, and... But he'll probably not pay as much attention as to, for example, all of the Protoss games that he'll be watching. A random Reaper coming up. A little bit of a misclick over here. Okay. So, where are we currently at? Income-wise, game's pretty even. No one ever really secured a huge economy. Neuro has been mining more than his opponent for the majority of the time, but because of those trades being so efficient here for the majority of the time as well for Astrea, army-wise is actually a-okay. Big Ultralisk counter-attack. Ooh, okay. Well then, that is one way of donating something to those Ultras. If we could get a round of hearts in Neuro's chat, that would be fantastic. Just to thank Astrea for the SCV donation. I don't know if Neuro's going to be watching this on stream, but that'd be kind of fun. Anyways, we do have a Spire coming up right now as well. +3/+3 researching here as well for the Zerg. Oh no. Oh no. And Astrea ends up losing a bunch of medevacs here for free. One of them is like, yo, I want to join my friends as well. I've got only 7 HP. Kill me, please. But it didn't happen. Banelings over here, too. Now, that is cheeky. These Banelings are in a position to intercept any SCVs that will likely be heading on over in this direction. This creep is going to dissipate because that was just from the Nydus worm itself. So there's unlikely to be a scan here. And these Banelings, they could certainly get some work done. That command center in the top left-hand corner are also burning out, though, and it seems to me that Astrea is slowly but surely getting destroyed. His army is still big, and that's what he's gonna have to get some use out of, right? Like, he needs to get some sort of work done here. Okay, well, ooh, God. Widowmine's already detonated, so I'm not a huge fan of the way that this is working out here. Ghosts, though, are split up very nicely, and there's really not that much available here for Neuro. I guess I've been overestimating his economy a little bit. Like, he's been ahead in the worker count the entire time. Maybe he's oversaturating some of his bases, or maybe it's just, yeah, the inefficient trades here for the majority of the time. I mean, he doesn't really have that many mineral fields to mine either, so maybe having 73 workers is nice, but it's not giving him... You can see him selecting it. It's not giving him... yeah, that much more income. This base actually up north is super important now. Because the expansions in the bottom right, they're already running relatively low. Nydus Worm right now in the natural as well, though, being obnoxious. But the Bio Army is killing that base at the 12 o'clock position. And that is gonna be annoying here for Neuro. There's not a whole lot available here for the Terran player to deal with these lurkers, but he is gonna clean them up eventually. Cloak, good. Nydus network in the main base. Marines stimming down the ramp as well. A little undecided on whether or not he should target fire down the lurker or the worm. Sometimes when you are a bit indecisive there, both of the things will end up staying alive, but it looks like everything is gonna get cleaned up here eventually. Okay, so we're talking 13 ghosts right now versus only 3 lurkers. Neuro has gas for the next game, so maybe he could save that up. I don't know, get a mortgage. Just show the bank the amount of gas you have. Well, that's funny. Anyways, it's not gonna save him all too much here with the current units that he's making, but one potential transition you always have as Zerg is Infestors. I think Infestors would be a good investment. There you go. Oh, man. I want to see those, but I'm gonna miss the Baneling explosion, man. The Banelings are eventually going to unburrow, and then I miss them. He's getting greedy now, isn't he? I feel like Neuro could have already used these Bane like 17. I would have used them ages ago. Oh my god, use them, please! No? Oh, yes! Hey, there it is. I didn't miss it. In the meantime, though, I did miss a Nydus Worm over here. Flopping over here, man. God, look how sad that... oh my... ooh. Saddest little Nydus Worm there. Anyhow, Ultras are apparently made. I think so. Originally the plan was to go Lurkers, but then Ghosts were made. And then normally you wouldn't really make Ultralisk because, well, Ghosts also tend to counter those. But since the Ultralisk got buffed and the Ghost got slightly nerfed, I think he's making it specifically, oh, killing base down south, to deal with the Ghosts, which is kind of interesting. I don't know. It's interesting. I don't know if it's good. But I wonder how this is going to play out here. Because I'm a little bit afraid that we are going to see those Ghosts still lining up some good old snipes. And that the kills will be kind of crazy. But we'll see. There's a lot of ultras, by the way. These Nydus worms are not really getting much done. Becoming a little desperate, too. Yeah, so we're going up to 10 ultralisks. This map is actually pretty interesting. All of the bases are laid out very much so on the outskirts of the map, which usually I feel like tends to favor Zerg quite a bit. So there's one forward base here, right? There's another one down south, obviously, but there's very few forward bases. Normally, Zerg with that mobility, right, is going to have an easier time securing these locations, and I feel like Terran would probably have a pretty hard time. There's those Zerglings still, by the way. They're on the mini-map. Other than that, I can't really see them. I think Neuro may have forgotten about them as well. Actually, no, he hasn't. He's been using this for vision to pop down the worms. Oh, that's what he's using them for. That's actually kind of sick. You can't see them at all. I mean, you could have health bars on. You should have health bars on. Anyways, Ultras, top left-hand corner. These guys have been destroying the outer bases. We previously saw them in the bottom right. There we go. 31 SCVs end up going down here, and they're not even finished yet, it seems. All right, already 130 SCVs killed, 56 drones, rather. Still a good amount. Another command center going down. Okay. I think making a round of Infestors here would be amazing. I think like 10 Infestors would be a sick... Oh my god. Well, here is what I was talking about earlier, right? So you see a couple of them got the Knight. Because the Ultras got out of range. That's one of the new additions. But that was a pretty expensive exchange right there for the Zerg player once again. Once again. That's the Terran dream right there, man. That's what you look for in the middle of the night. When you can't sleep, you just think of the sounds of Ultralisk dying because of your pew 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 pew. Zergling counterattack once again. Starting to feel a little desperate now. Because we don't have that much money. Okay, thank you, Widowmine. No, no, no. That hatchery is never going to stay alive. Same for the one opposite of the one we just looked at. There's the pathogen glands. Okay, so we are planning to go Infestors eventually, but I honestly think I would have just made them here. I don't think the upgrade is necessary at all. Unless you're planning on making a ton. Yeah, watching those banelings rolling in, it's not really what you want. Yeah, as funny as it is to say, I think the main thing Neuro is lacking in this game, even though he's playing at 347 actions per minute. It's actions per minute. This guy's playing ridiculously fast, but we're just missing that nice crispness, right, that you'll see out of, like, you know, one of those top-level Zergs. It's kind of crazy because, you know, this is coming down to, like, what, 7 buttons a second or something? I'm not gonna do math, okay? Excuse me, I'm not gonna do the math, but still, it's a lot of buttons. StarCraft 2 is pretty hard. I mean, obviously, you can't really compare APM very easily like that anyways, right? Like, repeat rates and keyboard advantages and, you know, the rapid fire and everything, it adds up very quickly. But yeah, it's always difficult to say, but you can see, at least compared to the top-tier pro gamers, it's just missing a little bit of that crispness, which sounds ridiculous to say, to be honest. It's like someone got upset at me the other day when I said that Gumiho's APM was low and he had like 250. There's gotta be more people getting upset at me this time around, okay? It's just that the top tier Zergs, all of them, if they have one thing in common, is that they are super duper freaking fast, man. There's no such thing as an efficient Zerg APM user, okay? Maybe they do exist, but it's, yeah, it's kind of wild. Anyways, good army right here for Astrea, but he's not mining a whole lot. As a matter of fact, he's only mining 200 minerals a minute right now, and yeah, there's a pesky little lurker and a Nydus worm as well to make taking this expansion once again a little bit more difficult. But those ghosts are amazing, man. Those ghosts are putting in so much value. Look at that. Nearly 20,000 resources lost more on the side of the swarm. That's a lot. Okay, maybe not quite 20,000, but it's significant. Hatchery over here, the very ambitious hatchery. Not gonna happen either. That one also gets destroyed. Pew. Okay, so Eventually, this position on the map can be taken once again. Neuro should be attempting, yeah, to take this base up north again, but there's a couple of Widow Mines left behind. Quite like that. Just keeping those around for a little while longer. Astrea is being very adventurous, though, with the units that he's got. This is his entire army. So you'd imagine having them located over here would not be a terrible idea. A Zergling Ultra push in the top left-hand corner right now could be absolutely lethal. But I guess at the same time, if Astrea makes that decision, right, he would immediately take down these bases over here, and with that, the drones as well. We do have 6 Infestors now, also added into the mix here. Brenda throwing a quick transfusion on the hatchery. You love to see it. She really cares. But I've got a feeling this is going to be the end for the hatch as well as herself. Maybe even the drones here, burrowed in the bottom right-hand corner. Okay, Ultras are going to run on over here right now, but yeah, I was going to say, I think that's a little too ambitious. They were probably queued up here from earlier, but this map is absolutely massive, so it took that control group a little while before they managed to get over here. Okay, that burrowed group of Zerglings eventually is going to unburrow. And thinking about joining in over here. Once again, though, those ghosts, man, those ghosts have been absolutely amazing. Astrea showing us the patience that he's well known for. Not afraid to play these scrappy games out. His late game control here has certainly been very impressive. These two changelings here, spoiling the surprise that is these 2 Infestors, or these 3 Infestors. Like, hey guys, there's nothing here, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, guys. Totally fine. Okay, Lurkers once again up north. Already over 200 workers killed. Okay, big fight over here. Oh my god, hold up. I'm gonna back off. Sorry, I was looking at something completely unrelated. Apparently, this is the time that those Infestors finally get the strike. Massive neural parasites going down on a bunch of those units. Siege tanks switching sides temporarily. We do have some nice fungal growths as well, but the ghosts... yeah, they are, for the most part, cleaned up right now. They did snipe a lot of the expensive Zerg units there, too. And a couple more were available right there on the left side. But that was a very expensive loss right there for Astrea. Drones, though, once more. Pulled away from their hatcheries. This hatchery is gonna get destroyed. There's a base reacquired up north, the 12 o'clock position. But the creep spread is... not quite there, and I've got a feeling that the Terran army could cycle over in that direction relatively easily as well. A lot of creep spread, though, down south, right? That's really nice. But at this point, it's not really that useful anymore, because these bases don't really provide that much value. It's still nice to have the... well, I guess... oh. Assimilation successful again. Okay. Nicely done, getting one of the tanks, using the tank against the other tank. Anyways, maybe taking this base over here is an option, but that feels incredibly far away for the Zerg. Assimilation successful. It's the siege tank guy, I guess, that says it, right? Because I don't think the Infestors speak very good English. Maybe they do, I don't know. I actually wonder if this base is doable. Maybe this is the only reasonable base that Zerg can take here. I wouldn't even mind seeing it. Even though it feels really strange. Especially if you can clean up this position. Yeah. Okay. Terran army now forced to cycle back home because there is that push right over here. Okay. Well, that's gonna... yeah, it's gonna get killed, but... oh, neural parasite once again. Are we gonna see EMPs? I think it really matters all too much anyways, because these ghosts are already putting in so much work. Just their basic auto attacks are amazing. So many Ultras have gone down in this game, man. I don't think killing that factory is worth losing like 4 additional Ultras over, but fair enough, carry on. Okay, Raven up in the air as well. Corruptors are immediately trying to hunt that one down. Maybe Neuro has broken this position. Yeah, he's thinking about it too. If you can get into the soft underbelly of the Terran player, right, and flood that with, well, a bunch of Zerglings, you can pick off the reinforcements as they pop out of those production structures, and that would be amazing, but difficult decision to make. I don't really blame him for idling here for a little bit. There are a lot more Zerglings available right now, and the creep spread is still amazing. A hatchery over here, yeah, I don't mind it. I like seeing it. That's another command center going down. Okay. How do you commit into fighting this here if you're Astrea? He needs to clean this up. Either that or he could lift off those structures and get on out of there, but a couple of those would get killed by the Corruptors. He's thinking about going for a counterattack instead. A couple of Zerglings already heading on over towards the top left-hand corner as well. Things are looking up right now for our Zerg player as he's taking control of the main base of the opponent and he's getting a new base up and running. These drones, yeah, they need to be transferred. They do get transferred right away. You love to see it. Okay. This is the lifeline right here of Astrea, though. Well, it's the lifeline after those unit-producing structures once again find a place. Astrea making the executive decision not to actually take that spot on the map. He actually wasn't producing out of those structures for a while either. I think that's by design, so he actually has a very good amount of money here in the bank. That is worth noting here, because maybe the supply counts are a little bit deceiving. If Astrea spends all of his resources here, he is going to be in a pretty good spot once again. Drones coming up right now for Neuro, really? I find that rather risky. I understand what he's trying to do. He's trying to slow down the pace of this game. But those drones are going to have to mine for at least a minute before they're really going to put in value. And this is a game that is incredibly scrappy. Fungal growth! Woo! He was thinking about it. EMPs, though, a little bit slow on the clicking. Two ghosts do still have to find their graves over here, and that's another Ultralisk going down. That was a pretty good shot, actually. 35 minutes and like 10 seconds for the thumbnail image, Lowko from the future. Thank you, Lowko from the past. Appreciate that. Okay, we've got a base. We've got 2 bases very soon. There is still an expansion in the top left-hand corner as well. Would not mind seeing an attempted planetary fortress in that position, and I think that's exactly what Astrea is going to do. Astrea not really adding on any additional add-ons here on these production structures of his. Okay, what was that? Hold up. What just killed that? Was that just a Widow Mine drop? Oh no, it's just a Widow Mine walk. Don't mind me, guys. Boop. He was trying to bait it as well with one drone. Did you see that? That poor drone was ready to sacrifice himself for the swarm, but apparently it wasn't meant to be. Okay. So, Neuro is going to take the bases in the bottom right. Astrea is taking the bases in the top left. I think he's going to be aiming for that one very shortly. I think Fungal Growth Harass would be pretty sick in this game, to be honest. That's something we've seen Dark do lately. And, yeah, it's been pretty sick. Alright. This is a lovely little position, by the way, for those 2 Marines, right? Very patient. The creep here is quite annoying. Infestor's moving in the top left-hand corner. There's no detection available here, so he doesn't know. Astrea has probably got his camera over here. I would love to see some fungal growths, man. Look at this. 1 fungal, 2 fungal, 3 fungal, 4 fungal. Everything dies. We just need more energy. Okay, we need to wait a minute. We don't have the energy for it right now. 12 additional drones have gone down. And Astrea is once again shutting down the economy of the Zerg. Both players combined now have 40 workers. Well, a couple more since drones just spawned, but the entirety of the Zerg army has moved on over in this direction. Yeah, okay, we do go for a fungal growth. I think that makes a lot of sense. Yep, 9 SCVs end up going down. These guys can always come back in for more later on as well. That's the hatchery going down, though, down south. It's 2 Marines that were tasked with killing all of that, but they did a formidable job, even though... Ooh, okay. Thought they were both gonna die, but Jimmy over here, the real legend of the Terran Dominion, he gets to survive for just a little while longer. Planetary Fortress coming up in the top left. This is critical to deny. So immediately the Zerg army is heading on over in that direction. Little bit of money being spent right now on that 1 Raven, and the planetary does get denied. Burrowed Zergling, please. That would be nice to have here, that's for sure. Infestors, ooh, full of energy. Please don't forget about those, Neuro. Couple of burrowed banelings on the ramp. The corruptors are the bait. No, go over there. Oh, what? Oh, just barely out of the range there. Oh no, the Infestors! They do get a nice fungal. You know what, that may actually justify that. Although he needs to have some sort of follow-up. There it is. Can we commit right here with the rest of the Zerg army? Are we brave enough to send in the Ultralisks? No, he decides better of it. Probably the correct move. I probably would have done it and lost the game. So once again, we have a bunch of these banelings ready to intercept an SCV transfer. Speaking of worker transfers, though, we do have now a drone, a group of drones, that is, heading on over towards the bottom section of the map. But a cheeky little Widow Mine here is going to deny that as well. There's more burrowed banelings on this ramp, too. Okay. Pretty strong army once again, though, for Astrea. 39 minutes into this, both players are essentially broke. These ghosts and their families and their, you know... Oh, look at these guys, pretending to be... Okay. Anyways, yeah, they've been putting in an incredible amount of value in this game. Baneling's not quite in the perfect position to intercept an SCV transfer, but... I mean, honestly, there's really not that much mining anymore here anyways. Okay, fungal? No, not gonna get the fungal. Instead, we're gonna just try and get away. He's not gonna be able to manage that. Good pop right there with the auto turret on that Raven. Okay. So, we are gonna commit to killing this base. It's critical that those Ultras finish that job, because otherwise the economy here from the Terran is gonna get out of control. Astrea obviously realizes it right now, and he's running across, but that is a long distance to cover. By the time he gets there, those planetary units are already going to be gone. That said, he needs to be careful, Neuro that is, that he does not overstay his welcome, and he decides to indeed now leave that position once again. Okay. This expansion from the Zerg, though, not going to happen. Nah. This map is actually a bit of a banger, isn't it? I really like how difficult it is for these players to expend on this map. It's it sounds frustrating to play, but it's excellent to watch, that's for sure. Only 7 SCVs are left here for Astrea. He's got a good army. He's got a little bit of money still in the bank. But yeah, that's going to be the end for the final workers here. Very, very nicely done. So literally 0 SCVs right now available. Those, okay, hero infestors do get the knight, but... Okay. So who's winning? Neuro still has some workers. They're long distance mining wherever they can, but at least they're mining. It's only about, well, 2 Zerglings a minute, so maybe it's not that impressive. Yeah, what little money he has, he decides to spend on more spellcasters, and I don't think that's a bad option at all. Fungal growth, obviously, has so much potential in a game like this. I do like the fact that Astrea still has a Raven up in the air. It's almost full of energy here, but this thing can provide a lot of utility. That one survived from, like, 7 minutes ago, right? And it's been around ever since. It got repaired back up to full HP, but I think with some auto turrets, it can definitely put in some work. Neuro right now ready to kill some additional SCVs, but he finds out, wait a second, none of that is actually available. He could go for a couple of mule drops, but I think Astrea is saying, yo, this is my army. He needs to make a supply depot. He needs to make a bunch of stuff. Nice hits right there. At least on that, you know, Marauder. He needs to kill... he needs to kill, I think, the opponent with this force that he's got right now. Neuro doesn't need to fight. He does not need to fight right now. I think waiting for the Infestors to accumulate more energy, if all of them have 2 fungals on them each, that would be amazing. So playing it patiently, not a bad idea. We're long distance mining wherever possible. There is some money in the bank right now to make a new hatchery. I wouldn't mind seeing it. The energy here in the orbital command is saved up, and this is seen right now by Neuro as well, just I think for scans. Okay. There was no production anymore for the Terran player, but this is now fully denied. No, this planetary is not worth killing, man. Okay, we're gonna kill it anyways. We're gonna take some damage here on the Ultras, but they will be able to regenerate. The problem is, taking a fight off creep here would be horrible. Losing one of the Ultras here would be painful. There's the snipes. Getting a good amount of damage. That's that new patch coming in. That is that new patch coming right in. EMP, okay, does catch 1, 2. I think the third one actually also did take a bunch of damage. That's of one of the... Infestors going down. Yeah, so when you run away far enough with the new patch, the snipe ability is denied, which is honestly one of the coolest changes. Doesn't sound very big, but you have a little bit of counterplay right now against this sort of style, which is pretty sick. Once again, good engagement right there for Astrea, but he needs to be cautious. Okay, he's making an SCV. He may have dropped a mule or 2. I don't think it's worth killing those, man. He decides to do whatever he can, but... those Marines are not going to be able to kill an Ultralisk, dude. Oh, the snipes, though, once again, joining in. A little bit of bait. You guys are like, I don't know, it's like we're going fishing, okay? You guys are just the bait. It's a little sad. Maybe you have to pay for this, yeah, it sucks. Okay? You're not gonna be able to survive this if you go on for too much longer, but those ghosts are putting in some value. The Ultralisk, though, cornered right now in the top left. Is there enough here for the Zerg player to clean this up? Or does the Terran army indeed stand strong? And that's exactly what we're seeing right now. The Ultralisks are being destroyed. Still, though, not a lot of anti-air available in this Zerg army, so those medevacs have to fly away. There's one Marine and one Ghost desperately trying to line up whatever they can. Astrea decides to split up the medevacs to keep them around for as long as possible. The army right now for the Zerg is 3 Corruptors and 5 Infestors. That's it. For the Terran, we have a Raven, we have a Ghost, we have 4 Marauders, and a Marine, and a Siege Tank too. Now, obviously, there's no more, oh, Neuroparasites. Neuroparasites could actually be sick. Oh my god. No way. If Neuro wins this off of these sick Neuroparasites, it'd be amazing. There's that hero Raven, though. That Raven putting in so much work, the Infestors have to run, but they're actually a little bit late. Yeah, now he takes control of it, but I don't think that was quite in time. Corruptors are eventually going to be able to clean that up. Oh, here's another Scando. That energy, it's very scarce. But once more, we have a Neuroparasite switching control, at least temporarily, changing these units' allegiance, I suppose. And yeah, eventually that allegiance turns out to be rather important as Neuro's final units fall. And it's Astrea who wins an epic game of Terran versus Zerg.